Hey everybody, welcome back to Brainiac Baseball's 1980 Detroit Tigers season replay. Today will be the final edition of the 1980 season. In this edition, we're going to go week by week, 1 week at a time, and go over the free agent signings as well as any computer AI trades. And that will lead us right up to spring training for 1981. And I'm assuming most of you, if you're watching this, you've probably watched some of the games over the year. And so what we're going to do here is, I think, to make it easy on everyone and also, try to push it along a little quicker, I'm going to show you my lineup, my projected lineup for next year. And this is basically what it's going to look like. I will be trading, for sure today, at some point, I will be trading Carlton, Fisk, and Richie Hebner, both much maligned players. Hebner, I'm not a fan of. He actually had a decent year for us. And Carlton Fisk, who I traded for, was just terrible. And we have 3 more years of Fisk, and I think we have 2 more years of Richie Hebner. And we're not going to need them. We probably will try to get a third baseman to replace Hebner, but we'll see how it goes. Pitching-wise, we are covered. We really don't have a closer. I put this Andy Replogle guy in there, who I never really gave much of a chance before. He had 17 Ks in 19 innings. So he's a strikeout pitcher, and he performed pretty well. So I guess he's going to be the closer. We do have Tom Hume down here who's injured and will be back at some point. And in real life, he was an actual closer. And we got some, players here in AAA that might work out. So, work their way in if we get injuries. So if we take a quick look at the free agent list, you'll see here there's not a lot to choose from. There are some players here that I wouldn't mind having, but we've already got the positions covered. I let go Bob Baylor. He's on the list, and Champ Summers, who I definitely do not want. And there's Aurelio Rodriguez. And so it's possible I could re-sign Senior Smoke for the closer's role, but his price is going to have to come down. Okay? So this is what there is out there in the market, not a lot. And if you've played this game, and I'm assuming most of you have, you know that when you advance even one day, the first day of free agency, usually you'll get a lot of the signings happening the first day, right out of the gate. So this is how we're going to do it. We're going to play the first week one day at a time, and we're just going to do it quickly. And then after that, we'll go week by week. At some point, I am going to trade those 2 players. And ultimately, I want to get through this as quickly as we can. All right. I appreciate anyone who's taken the time to follow along. 1981 is coming up. So like and subscribe. It's going to be different. It's going to be a little bit better. Hopefully, the games will be a little bit faster. Those are my main goals for the 1981 season, which is a strike-shortened season. There's only 109 games. So, okay, enough talking. Let's get to some action here. So this is how I normally do it. I wait on the transaction page. We advance one day, and we'll see if anybody signs or gets traded. Yes. So Fergie Jenkins signed with Toronto for $900,000. Okay, so that's one day down and one pitcher gone. So this the second day, right? And then we're going to do the third day. It's going to do a quick save. If your computer allows you to, or your phone, you could advance this at like 1.2 speed, and if you want to go 1.5, I'll be a little bit, I'll be like one of the chipmunks or something, but maybe it'll get you through it quicker. There's Daryl Porter, who signed with Texas. He was with the Royals, batting leadoff, if you might remember. And also, just take a look at Fergie, who left Texas to go to the Blue Jays. Okay, so we've done 4 days. Here's 5 days. Here's 6 days. Oh, somebody signed. Paul Splittorff went to the Twinkies. So he left the Royals and went to the Twinkies. So, fantastic. And then this will be the last day. And then we're going to do it 1 week at a time. As Randy Jones goes to Baltimore in my own division, they paid him 5 years, $1.5 million, which is a lot for this era. He only pitched in 17 games. He was a former Cy Young winner. I don't know if it was for 75 or 76. There you go, 1976. It has it right here. So he missed, 12, 14. He missed 14 weeks in the season with injury. And, if I were doing this on my own and not trying to record it for everyone, this is the kind of thing that I would look at. I would actually go and see each signing and see if it was worthwhile. But now we are, we're at November 5th. So we're just going to do it 1 week at a time now to get this moving along. None of the free agents I want to sign, so I'm not really worried about another team, snatching them up here. If I were, then I would go 1 day at a time until the player's payroll got to the level that I wanted it to, so I could sign them. So here we go. Here's our first trade. Oakland A's send Orlando Gonzalez. Definitely remember him. He was batting second for this team, behind not Ricky Henderson. Henderson was batting third. At any rate, he walks a pretty decent amount, and he got traded to the Dodgers for probably a couple prospects. Well, there's Tony Brewer, who's on the DL for 45 more days, and Larry White, who is a prospect. So the A's have such a, real payroll constraints. They're trying to get rid of some of their excess payroll. And now Robin Yount is on the Cleveland Indians. He was on Milwaukee naturally. He got traded to Texas, became a free agent, and he's getting paid the big money now as he goes to the Cleveland Indians. So we will create a new baseball card for him. It'll be the 1981 style, which is what you see here. I had this card created as kind of like a practice card, and we used it in the 1980 season. But this is the way it's going to look. I'm going to have this type of card as the photo, and then when we do the lineup rundown, I will present you with the updated card. So Robin Yount will be in a Cleveland Indians jersey or uniform. Okay, let's do another week. I don't know if this is interesting to anyone or not. I'm going to do it anyway and watch it if you want. Put it in the background. Let it play while you're falling asleep. My voice is very soothing. So John Matlack, he went 9-0 with the Rangers, suffering great injuries there for basically 2 years in a row. Signs with the White Sox. Signs a 3-year contract. And 4-year contract, I should say. And so he's going to move into the Sox rotation. Then the Indians decided to trade Ron Hassey, their everyday starting catcher. Had a pretty good year. I know he had a home run against us, 35 grounding into double plays. And in return, so he goes to the Yankees. And in return, they send Don Cooper, who is the pitching coach for the White Sox, Dan Pasqua, who also went to the White Sox in a trade in real life. Now he's on Cleveland, and Keith Smith. And then Jim Bibby gets a 1-year deal with the Twinkies. So the Twins have signed 2 starting pitchers, Paul Splittorff and Jim Bibby. So they are trying to strengthen their pitching staff. 1 more week. We'll be coming up on Thanksgiving. As it's gonna do this every time I do 1 week. So we just have to be patient there for a second. Okay, so here's another trade. Wow, this is a big one. The Brewers cutting some payroll, sending Sixto Lizcano, maybe their best player now that Robin Yount is gone. Batted .333 2 years in a row, batting over 300. That is insane. And all they get back is some pitcher named Rich Rodas, minor leaguer, and Dave Sachs, the brother of Steve Sachs, who is a backup catcher. That they just got ripped off. And look at this. Aurelio Lopez signs with the White Sox, going to be a relief pitcher for them. And the Oakland A's signed Pops, Willie Stargell, who, although he was batting .320 last year, Pittsburgh cut him. They let him go, and he was out there available to anyone. It looks like they stuck him in Double-A. I guess for $115,000 a year, that's not a bad deal. Let's take a quick look at who is left on free agents. All the pitchers are gone, and we got some schlubs here. And even though these guys here might not actually get signed as free agents, we're going to see a lot of trade action. So we're just going to keep playing 1 week until I think maybe after the first week of December here, I'm going to start doing my trades. And what I'm going to be looking for is I need a third baseman, either a starting third baseman or somebody who's a left-handed third baseman that doesn't cost a lot that I can platoon with Tom Brookins. Nothing there. So here we go. We're going to play one more week, and then I'm going to do my trades, which I'm sure will be absolutely thrilling as I try to figure out what I want. And as the game continues to save. Oh, okay, here we go. So there was a signing. The Yankees signed my Bob Baylor. They're giving him some big dough, and he is going to be in the major leagues for them, as you can see right here, at least to start off. Yeah, I mean, he was okay for us. We're not going to miss him. That's for sure. Okay, trade time for me. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the players list, and we're going to do a trading block. And we're going to take our first crappy, disappointing player. I mean, Hebner was not disappointing, but he's 33, and I just don't like him. So we're going to be looking for prospects. I always do that first to see if we can't get some people to bolster our bullpen, perhaps. So nothing there at all. What about relief pitchers? Nothing at all. What about anybody? Oops. Anybody. Anything. No. What about cash? Give me some cash. Give me some cash money. Oh, the Mets want to give me $15,000 to take Hebner off my hands. We're going to say we're going to do that, and we're going to see if we can't get a player from him. Of course, Hebner was with the Mets before he came over to Detroit. Again, if you were watching any of the season, you'll know that his 1980 baseball card, he was in his Mets uniform. So we're going to look. Well, let's see if they got a third baseman other than Kevin Seitzer there. Do they have a third baseman that we can steal from them? Maybe a left-handed third baseman. So Phil Mankowski is a former Detroit Tiger. And I think we can do better than that, I would think. Okay, maybe not. Frank Tavares is a second baseman. Ron Gardenhire. Kevin Seitzer wouldn't be able to play right now. Oh man, they don't have anything, do they? Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the relief pitchers. And maybe there's somebody with a contract that we can take off their hands. There's an expiring contract. Oh, he's a starting pitcher. And Pat Zachary is a starting pitcher. Ed Glenn is a former Detroit Tiger. Neil Allen, young and good. Well, I guess we could... we want to dump payroll. That's the thing. There's Dan Plesac, who's a lefty. Roger McDowell. I guess I want someone that I can at least possibly use if we need to. Like Doug Sisk. Let's take a look at Doug Sisk. So he was in Double-A all last year. He's not making a lot of money. Let's say we'll take 15 grand and Doug Sisk for Richie Hebner. Submit the offer. You got to be kidding. Have you looked at the numbers? All right. You don't have to give me money then. How about that? Gee, I didn't know I had moron painted on my forehead. Okay, how about we give you $100,000? Okay, so let's just balance. We'll balance cash. Oh, I don't have enough money. All right. Well, damn it. Maybe I just have to get rid of them for the 15 grand, right? Just to get them off my payroll. And then maybe make a trade later in the year. Balance cash. The trade is evenly balanced. What? You give me nothing. What? Now they don't want to give me any money? What is happening? Okay, there we go. Okay, fine. I'll take your 15. It's like, you know what? That's like catcher's equipment. I just traded for catcher's equipment. So we're going to submit the offer and we're going to take it. And I get nothing in return for Richie Hebner. But I do lose all of that payroll, which could come in handy somewhere down the line. And I'm not really excited about Tom Brookins being my everyday third baseman, but I mean, in real life, he actually was. So anyway, next up is, oh man, we're going to try to get rid of Fisk. Here he is right here. So he's got a couple years left. Let's just see, is anybody out there want him? Nobody wants him. Come on. And nobody wants them for money. What is the deal here? What about some veterans? What about a third base? So I'm going to have to sweeten the pot because we need to get a third baseman. Okay, so what do we have? We have a lot of outfielders. Let's get rid of Tony Armas while we're at it. And let's see if we can get a third baseman out of that deal. What about cash? I wouldn't mind getting rid of Tony Armas for cash too. Oh, this sucks. Okay, so Tony Armas, we're gonna have to do somebody. We're gonna have to do somebody that we don't want to do. I don't want to get rid of Glenn Wilson. This is like one of those things where it's like you don't want to give up anybody good, but you want to get somebody good. Okay, well, I mean, Howard Johnson is a third baseman. And he's a switch hitter. So we can't get rid of him because we're going to need him in the future. Who do we have? We need to find, let's just find somebody like in the 80s. Mike Laga. Mike Laga in real life. Oh, come on. This game is just not going to let me do what I want to do. What about Chris Pitaro? He is a third baseman. And Chris Pitaro has a really interesting story. Let's see if we can get a third baseman for that. Wow. Okay, so people want to give me some money for these guys here. I guess we're going to take the highest bidder, and we'll get the payroll off of the slate. So we're going to send him. We're sending Fisk to the Oakland A's, and then we'll move on. This is not the way I wanted to go. Do they have a third baseman they can throw in? How about, well, Wayne Gross was their best player. He is on a 1-year deal, though. Let's see. That's interesting, but not interesting enough. What if I threw in a little bit of money? Okay. So there we go. We're going to get Wayne Gross from the A's. And they're going to get, we're giving them Fisk and Chris Pitaro. And that works out well because Wayne Gross is a decent defensive third baseman. He can play every day. He does have home run power. He strikes out a lot. So we'll put him at the bottom of the lineup. And Tom Brookins can be a defensive replacement. And Brookins can play second base or shortstop as well. All right. So there we go. Yep. Okay. So we got rid of Hebner for $15,000, and we worked ourselves out a deal for Wayne Gross. And now Fisk will be their everyday catcher, DH. So that works out okay. And Kirk Gibson will be our DH in his first full season for us. So, okay, we're going to move on now. We can kind of go a little bit more swiftly as we get through the rest of the season, and then that's it. We're done. I mean, I have to start putting together 1981, which will be challenging. So Oakland turns around after getting Carlton Fisk, and they trade their left fielder, Derek Bryant. He did play every day last year. We saw him a lot. No home run power. Didn't really do much. And he goes to St. Louis for Joe Desai and Joe Baver. Joe Desai, you might remember, he unfortunately passed away in spring training in a car accident in Florida all those years ago. And Joe Baver, he played for Detroit. And those are just a couple of minor leaguers. Okay, let's do another week as we get to Christmas here. I'm not in real life. It probably feels like it's Christmas after this video's over, but it's just Christmas in the game. You can see up here in the corner. Nope, nobody's making any deals before Christmas. Let's go ahead and get to New Year's. Happy New Year's, everybody. I probably should be drinking. Okay, there we go. Also, Champ Summers, former Detroit Tiger. He's going to sign with the Boston Red Sox. They've stashed him in AAA for the moment. Red Sox, if you remember in this game, they were pretty horrible. They did trade away Carlton Fisk and Gary Hancock to my team with Bob Stanley, too. So maybe they need to replenish some AAA players. And here we are on January 7th. Nothing going on. Advance another week. And we're thinking about it. I'm actually really excited for the 1981 season. If you don't know why I chose 1980, I mentioned it in the opening day of 1980, and that is because it was the first year Sparky Anderson became the Tigers manager, and it really set into motion a lot of the changes that were taking place. Now, the groundwork was already laid with our minor league system. We had Trammell and Whitaker and Parrish and Morris, and we had Mark the Bird Fidrich, and we also had Dave Rosema. So we had Dan Petrie was coming up. So we had all of our young players. Nobody's making any deals at all right now. And so Sparky had all that working for him. And then they pieced together, Kirk Gibson was there too, of course. And they made a few good trades with Larry Herndon and Chet Lemon. And, we won the World Series in 1984. So this is a fun era for me to play, as there is still nothing happening here. As we're into February, we're going to be at the halfway point. So March 1st is spring training. And so we should be pretty much almost ready to go. Now, in spring training, we're not gonna do that. We're just going to stop as it switches to the 1981 season, and you'll see it here. It'll actually start to advance in the game. I think it probably will after the next week here. Still, no other action The Cubs are not, are not doing anything. They're desperate. That team is horrible. As we advance another week, we're coming up on to March 1st. Still nothing going on. How many more days till Tom Hume? So we won't get him back until May. And by then, who knows, we might be out of it if we don't have a closer. All right, advancing one more week. This should take us right to March 1st. At that point, off screen, I'm going to update the game to its most current version. Spring training news. Jack Morris learned to change up from Dan Petrie, which is terrible because Dan Petrie walked a person in an inning. Chuck Carey learned from Dan, blah, 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 blah. Who cares? All right. So it's still thinking here, as you can see. Changing, loading stats. Oh, you son of a bitch. Your cheesy porno mustache and your unibrow. They're loading the rookies for the draft for the next season. We're going to be somewhere, probably in the bottom third, I guess. That's it. I think if we go to transactions, look real quick. Yeah, there's nothing new of note. It's already advanced. I'm going to go in and change the games to 109. And I've already did a fake opportunity, a fake schedule with that. And because it's 109 games, it basically ends the season in July, which is weird. But that's how it's going to work because I wanted to try to, play out in the actual way that the season did in 1981. So that's it. That's all you need to know. We're good. We're going to come back. Today is March 11th. So I'll be back on April 1st. I'm moving to Tucson, Arizona. And once I get settled at the end of this month, we'll start the 1981 season with all new baseball cards, with the players on the correct team on their card. And I think it'll be a lot of fun. Thank you, everyone, for sticking with me for 162 games. And I'm excited for 1981. So until April 1st, everyone have a great day.